All right, welcome everyone. I'm very glad that you could join us today. My name is Paula Newcomb and I'm the Northeast Regional Coordinator of the Indiana State Library's Professional Development Office. I will be the host and question moderator for today's webinar, A Whole Lot of Sugar in My Library Lemonade, presented by Angie Baldislaw, the director of the Spooner Memorial Library in Spooner, Wisconsin. After the webinar has been transcribed, it will be available on the Indiana State Library's archived webinars page. If you are watching an archive recording of this presentation, information on how to obtain your LEU is in the video's description in YouTube. For weekly updates on upcoming trainings and to learn more about what's happening in libraries across the state, please subscribe to the Indiana State Library's e-newsletter, The Wednesday Word. And check out our continuing education website for other professional development opportunities. So let's get started now. I am now happy to turn the presentation over to Angie.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Angie Baldislaw and I am coming at you from Spooner, Wisconsin. I have a handy map there so you can see where we are. We're actually closer to Minneapolis than to Madison. I am the library director at Spooner Memorial Library, which is in the northwestern part of the state, and our city population is 2,609 with 5 FTE for staff, and our library building is 5,500 square feet, so we're a pretty small library. So I'm sure you've heard the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, today I'm going to share how to make lemonade out of 10 obstacles that I faced in my small library in hopes that it will encourage you in your role at your library. So each lemon, there's 10 of them, is going to have 3 slides. One with the lemon, the obstacles, one with the lemonade, making lemonade, obstacle turned opportunity, and then the final one is going to be the outcome, the whole lot of sugar part. So the outcome part, you might find some ideas. Feel free to write them down. Feel free to write down questions, and halfway through I'll take a break for questions and then again at the end. So we're going to jump right into lemon number 1, book donations. I'm sure you have experienced that. So our book nook, which is the little room we have with our books that are for sale in it, was so full that we couldn't even walk into the room, mostly due to a very large book donation from our local elementary school. That is literally a picture of just a few of the books from that room. So let's talk about making lemonade out of that lemon. At first, when the school offered us their weeded books, I thought, this is a bad time. It was during the beginning of the pandemic. And I also thought, we don't really have the staff to run the book sale, and did I mention that there's a lot of books? So I chose to reframe it. Why not? We had a local initiative to create care packages, and I thought, this might be a good opportunity to raise money for care packages. Whoop. So we did. And here's the whole lot of sugar. The outcome. We raised over $1,000 to purchase more care package supplies for care package distribution in our county. We purchased toilet paper, hygiene items, and cleaning. We did not need extra staff, and the sale was outside, which prevented a gathering of people indoors. And then instead of charging per book or charging per bag, it was free will donations. And patrons put the money directly in the locked box by our copy machine, so we didn't even have to handle money at the beginning of the pandemic. And we continue care packages to this day. So let's move on to lemon number 2. Lemon number 2 is when your employees come to you with yet another idea and you are already swamped. So this is speaking to you managers here or directors. So my team members are full of ideas. I don't know about yours. Well, one day one of my team members came to me with the idea of a backpack station in our children's section. Do I look like I have time for another idea? Well, let's make some lemonade. My initial reaction was, I don't have time for another idea. We don't have money for that. But changing my mindset to why not and encouraging my team member to take the lead, that's the key, allowed for a great opportunity. Jill, the one who's wearing the cape here, disassembled the kits that we already had and curated a 3-step backpack station out of them, adding superhero capes, games, Beanie Boos, and Easy Reader books. We've since added puzzles, puppets, and lacing toys too. So the opportunity was revamping our kits, increasing circulation, and offering something unique. So say why not and watch your team shine. And here is what the backpack station looks like. So this lemonade was super duper sweet. It really did increase our circulation. Our backpack station continues to get a lot of views. And the process empowered my team, which is super important and one of the sweetest things to see as a leader. So here you'll see our backpack station set up. We have all paperback Easy Reader books, which are pretty easy to replace when they get worn out. The backpacks are Skip Bop, I believe. I'll look for sure to get the right brand, but they withstand a lot. And then the bins on the bottom have the Beanie Boos and the puzzles and all the other little things that kids can pick to put in there. So let's go on to lemon number 3, repetitive feedback. So this would be another management thing. I was giving the same hard feedback year after year at my team members' annual review. I would tell her, if you feel overwhelmed, please go into the stacks and take a break, because patrons see when we're frustrated and may feel like an inconvenience. Well, this lemon took years for me to look at differently. As a leader, giving feedback is important, but not very fun. So this is a picture of my daughter doing a science experiment. She's filtering water, and this is the beginning step is, well, the water that needs filtered, which is pretty gross and not very fun. Well, let's make some lemonade. So just like her water filtration device, it's a little bit of work here. So the biggest thing coming between this lemon and some deliciously sweet lemonade was me, myself. For the longest time, I considered this my team members' problem. The reality of a small library is that all hands on deck. Your work gets interrupted, and that's just how it is. Well, I started to notice the pattern, and I considered the why. This opened my eyes to consider that this is an opportunity to change the entire workflow of our library, and in the end, impact our patrons. So basically, I got over myself and realized this is something that I can change. So the results of this, making this lemonade, was kind of time-consuming. It was creating what I call an uninterrupted time schedule. So if you're from a small library or even a bigger library, this might be helpful for you. My team has had a better attitude with patron interruptions and better time management since we started the uninterrupted time schedule. It's definitely worthwhile for anyone who has more than one team member working at the same time. So what you'll see on the schedule here is somebody is working uninterrupted time, And during that time, their main focus is on cataloging or their other main duty. They're not answering phones, they're not assisting patrons. And then the person who's on second duty, it has a little leeway, they can work on their own projects, but they're listening and paying attention for if a patron needs help at the front desk. And then the person on desk duty is fully invested in working the desk and helping patrons and answering phones. And it's made a big difference at my library for sure. So let's move to lemon number 4, cleaning house. So lemon number 4, like number 1, involves patron donations. We have gotten donations of all sorts of types. A board member passed away, and her son wanted to donate her entire puzzle collection to the library. At that time, we didn't have any puzzles, and we knew nothing about having a puzzle collection. One of the big questions was, how do I keep track of all those pieces? Well, let's talk about making some lemonade. So our building is small, so it's easy to tell people, no, we can't accept that donation, we don't have space for it. And that was my initial reaction. And I also had no idea how to keep track of puzzle pieces. Well, all you have to do is Google. So what I did was I shifted some books and made space because this was an opportunity for our library. We have a small budget, and all of these puzzles had only been used one time. And let's look at the lemonade. So here's some sweet lemonade for you. Our board member had been a retired teacher, so students from the school she taught at put together one of her puzzles, which is the big one with the frame. And we put a memorial plaque, and we now have a growing puzzle section that has cost us almost nothing and gets checked out a lot, especially during the pandemic. During the pandemic, we probably had maybe 10 puzzles on our shelf, and our collection is bigger than this now. So patrons continue to donate puzzles, and many we keep and others we sell in our book donation room. We now have yearly puzzle contests as well, including a virtual one. We have one coming up this weekend, and here is a picture of our last virtual puzzle contest. One neat partnership that we were able to secure recently is a partnership with the local jail. They appreciate used puzzles, so donations that we do not catalog, we're going to start giving to the local jail too. So this is our last lemon before we take a break for questions. So lemon number 5 involves an obstacle many small and large libraries understand. Patrons have ideas, and we can't just ignore them, right? But one particular obstacle we have is specifically with our small library. We don't have space. Our space is really limited. In fact, this picture shows our program space, which is between our audiobooks and DVDs. So a patron came to me with an idea. She said if I let her, she would teach group ukulele classes in the library. So let's talk about making lemonade out of this. I was confronted with the reality of our space issues. If we had ukulele lessons at the library, patrons would have to walk around the program, and the library would be pretty loud. But this was an opportunity. So this community member had a talent that she was willing to share for free. She had ukuleles for any participant that didn't own one. So this was really an opportunity to not only empower the community member, but also the community. Let's look at our lemonade. So this lemonade was as sweet as the community member who made it happen. Her name is Nan. She's the one in the middle of the picture on the left. So Nan successfully held 2 6-week sessions of ukulele. Several students of all ages joined, and many played at our 2019 fundraiser, including a handful who played solos. Nan encouraged many community members to pick up an instrument for the first time. money and access was no longer a barrier. And plus, I never considered our library quiet anyways. So we're going to have a time for questions. Paula?
At this point, nobody's having questions yet, but could I have you maybe tone down your microphone just a tiny little bit? I know it was like at 75%.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Let's try that.
Okay.
How does that sound? I know it was a tiny bit distorted earlier. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah. Is that better?
What's everybody think? It was just a tiny bit distorted earlier. You can go ahead and talk some more.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay, so I'm going to look at the comments.
Someone had put in there, what financial lemons did you... I lost it for a second. Let me go back up. What financial lemons have you conquered?
Financial lemons? I have created some pretty good partnerships with organizations who have the same mission as us, and because of that, we've been able to like ramp up our large print. I'm thinking like a partnership with the local Lions Club helped us increase our large print and audiobook holding, which are very expensive. So that's a lemon there is not being able to add on, but needing more for our population. So that's one of them. Another one was a lemon of not being able to pay my staff equitable wages, and instead of just getting frustrated by it, I spoke with my team about it, and I spoke with my board about it, and did some research and advocated for them to my city. And it was a 2-year process, but we were able to get wage increases for my team. And in the process, I guess the lemonade would be, or the sweet lemonade would be that, it helped my team know that I was rooting for them, and it helped with my relationship with the city, and them understanding, what my team does here.
Okay. All right. We had another question. How many staff do you have?
Yeah, I have a total of 12. Only one full-time, and that's me. And the rest there's 3 that are 28 hours a week, and the rest are under.
Okay. And another question now here's one about the puzzles. When you circulate puzzles, how do you keep track of all the pieces, and what do you do when a piece is lost?
Yeah, so this was a question that we had before we decided to bring the puzzles in. So what we decided to do was, on the outside of the box, we put a little label that says, if a piece is missing, circle it on the box. Like circle where it would be on the box. And whenever there's 2 circles, that's when we delete the puzzle. So it's really leaving it up to the patrons. We don't count the puzzle pieces as they come back. And so far it's worked really well. We've had our puzzle collection for quite some time. And then I see that Lola asked about cleaning backpacks and puzzles. So with our backpacks, what we do is we put like a little luggage tag. So we sew a luggage tag into the backpack itself. And then in the luggage tag, we have a barcode with our, with basically what it is a scanned copy of our library card. So then that's, what we scan to check out the backpacks. Well, we can take that out, and then we can just put the whole backpack in the washing machine. And I bring them home and wash them in my washing machine. And they've been washed several times and come out really clean. I don't think we've ever had to weed out a backpack. And I think it's because that brand is so good. And then as far as cleaning the puzzles, we really don't clean the puzzles. We store them in some high-quality Ziploc bags, and we haven't had any problems with issues like that.
Great. I think someone wants you to go over again what the backpack station is.
Oh, yeah. I'll go back up here. Okay, so how the backpack station works is a patron will first pick out a backpack, and then they'll open up the backpack, and then they'll select however many books they want, maybe 4 or whatever, from the book section and put them in the backpack. And then they'll go to the stuffed animal one, which has its stuffed animals and puppets. They'll pick out a stuffed animal and put that in the backpack. And then the last thing is a toy, which it could be a lace-up toy, it could be a puzzle or a mini game. We have superhero capes. And they'll pick one of those and put them in the backpack as well. And then they'll put the backpack on their back if they want and come to the checkout. And then we scan each item individually, which is how we increase our circulation by doing it this way. And the kid takes the whole setup home, and then when they come back, they bring the whole setup back.
Nice. Okay, and another question. I might be behind on some of these questions. Someone had a question about the shed that you had. Is that on library property or somewhere else?
I wish. It is the Potter Shed, which is located in Shell Lake, Wisconsin. It's a outdoor, they have outdoor events and art stuff, and we partnered with them to have our fundraiser there.
Okay, and how do you barcode the beanie animals?
We attach the barcode to their tag, and then we put label protector over it. And then that also makes it so we can wash the Beanie Boos too. And again, I think it's because those are the stuffed animals we're using. They survive the wash really well.
Good. And someone else had a question about the backpacks, and I think someone in our chat wrote down the type of backpack.
Yeah, someone had found it. Is it Skip Hop?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, skiphop.com. They sell them on Amazon, sometimes on sale, and then I've seen them at Barnes & Noble also.
Okay.
Does anyone have any more questions?
2 more people are writing, but they haven't come through yet. But maybe if you'd want to go ahead, and then we'll get the rest of the questions at the end.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, good questions. And sorry about the audio. All right, well, we're going to move forward with our next lemon. Our lemon number 6 is Internat. I'm not sure what it's like where you guys are, but we have had some internet connection issues across the state because of fiber optic cuts and such. So lemon number 6 was probably the most frustrating lemon for me that I have experienced at the library. So in summer of 2019, when several fiber optic cuts happened in the state, it meant we were without internet a lot, which was very problematic for my team and for our patrons. So let's see, how did we make lemonade? It was really about making the most out of an obstacle we had little control over. With the internet down, we had no access to our catalog, email, and almost everything we need access to. The tricky part was that we didn't know it was coming, and the opportunity came when I decided enough is enough and there has to be a solution, or at least a Band-Aid to make it less painful. And librarians are good at that, so I'm sure you guys have experienced that. So, where did we go from there? So this lemonade may not be super sweet, but we found a solution. a hotspot. So we pay $32 a month for our Verizon hotspot data plan. And we also added wireless cards to our staff computers and now to some of our patron computers, so that should the internet go down, we can connect it to the computers with the hotspot. The hotspot has also served us really well for outdoor programs and outreach. So maybe something to look into. Let's move on to lemon number 7. So lemon number 7 is still pretty raw, although it's been about a year, because it deals with the pandemic. In March 2020, we closed our doors to the public, and the library sat empty. So out of this very sour lemon came one of the greatest opportunities of 2020. Making lemonade meant working from home, trying to see how we can serve the community with an empty building. The opportunity was the empty building itself. Together with a group of other community members, we joined forces to help the community. Community First Washburn County was formed. So this lemonade continues to be sweet. A handful of organizations that serve the community came together. Along with them, several community volunteers who stepped up. The empty library became a packaging and storage center for care packages. And their items such as toilet paper, hygiene items, and cleaning supplies. To date, we have distributed about 930 care packages in our county. And the library still houses the majority of the packages, which are offered through curbside pickup across the county. Care package distribution led to supplemental meal delivery, partnering with local restaurants who were struggling during the pandemic. And then from there, it led to a partnership with the ADRC, the Unit on Aging, in distributing over $6,000 worth of food boxes to community members in need in the Farmers to Families Food Box Program. So we have now incorporated Community First, and the library continues to play a vital role, and the community collaborations and commitments are amazing because Community First has been so incredible. So opportunities for collaboration. I'd love to hear some of your collaborations that happened because of COVID. So let's go to lemon number 8. So lemon number 8 was an inherited lemon for me. Our library was one of the last to digitize in our system, and one of the biggest barriers to doing that was our short barcodes. We integrated in 2007. I came on in 2015, and we still had short barcodes. So the problem with the short barcodes was that when we did inventory and when we used our web version of Sierra, our ILS, items didn't show up. So with this lemon, it required a new perspective. The previous director didn't want to change the barcodes because of the principle. And I didn't want to tackle the inherited lemon because of the time and cost, but the reality of the situation was that it needed to happen. So why not? So sometimes a new perspective helps with lemons like this. And the new perspective led to some pretty good lemonade. And when we updated our short barcodes, though it was a daunting task, it allowed us to look at the condition of all of our older books, update a bunch of them, clean a bunch of them, replace coverings on a bunch of them, and we also evaluated our records. So now when books come back with short barcodes, which have been out for a while, then we know that they haven't been looked at, and longer barcodes mean that our next inventory will be accurate, and we have our next inventory in May. This is our youth nonfiction area. So lemon number 9. I'm sure most of you know that when you work in a library, you don't read books all day. You do some other tasks like fixing toilets and stuff, right? So lemon number 9 is a lemon I'm sure all small library staff can appreciate, and probably large too. So everything keeps breaking, from a broken toilet to burnt out ballast to an expensive furnace replacement. It's not easy when everything keeps breaking. So that picture is actual footage of me fixing the library toilet. Have any of you guys done that? So let's talk about the obstacles. Oh yeah, Jennifer says, oh yeah. Yep, see, I'm not alone here. So the obvious lemon in this case is money. When things break, it costs money to replace them. Oh, there we go. Yep, other duties as assigned. So money requires us asking for it, which isn't the most fun thing in the world. One day, I decided I was done bandaging our water-wasting toilet, and I was done with our energy-wasting lights needing constant ballast changes. I was done paying for $500 parts on a 20-year-old furnace. So the opportunity here, even though uncomfortable, was an opportunity to strengthen our city relationships and an opportunity to be more efficient. There's our newer toilet. Doesn't use as much water. Well, I'm glad you like the look of our bathroom. That's a nice looking corner. I'll just put it that way. So the pictures show the sweet lemonade that came from everything breaking. When our ballast kept burning out, we reached out to the city for help. We qualified for Focus on Energy incentives, and we upgraded to LED lights. So we paid a portion of the lights, and the city paid for the rest, and then they installed them for free. So sometimes working with other entities and our financial supporters means we pay some, they pay some, but overall, working together. We were also able to upgrade our furnace the same way with the help of the city and good relationships. So here is the final lemon, and it's a pretty important lemon to talk about. So lemon number 10 is one that has definitely been heightened due to the pandemic. With the pandemic came really, really hard moments mentally for many of my team members. Life is hard. A pandemic definitely makes it harder. So 2020 was hard on my team. It was a lot. A mental health crisis made me realize the importance of working towards defeating the stigma of mental illness at work. This was an opportunity to make lemonade and make our library safer and more supportive of team members with mental health. So one lemon of the pandemic is the increased stress it has caused on my team and myself, but I have chosen to make lemonade, and the sweet side of this really hard time is that our team is stronger and we are more socially aware. To support my team, I've incorporated mental health check-ins for those that want to. I've adjusted lunch schedules and allowed team members to go home if they're not having a good day. We have become a workplace that is safer and more open about mental health. And I've also been more open about my own mental health and been more aware of the need to practice self-care, like visiting the North Shore alone up in Superior. These are some pictures from there. I'd be happy to answer any questions on that too. So, in summary, we have talked about 10 lemons, also known as obstacles, that I experienced while leading my small library. My biggest hope for you all is that you will allow yourselves time to pause before you say no, before you throw in the towel, and consider the what-ifs and the why-nots before you say no. When your team member comes to you with an idea, even when you're busy, take a moment to consider what is there to lose if they take the lead on it. If it seems like your library building is falling apart, maybe it literally is, take a moment to breathe. Turn your negativity into action. Work on relationships. Be creative. It's all about the attitude. So we have time now for questions. And I would love questions or comments. So we learn best from each other. And my contact information is here. You can always reach out to me by email or phone.
Okay, yes, thanks so much, Angie. Yeah, anybody else have questions about what we've learned or heard today? She's had so many good ideas. I know a lot of you can relate to what she's been talking about. Yes, it's been very relatable.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I do see we have people typing, so we'll see what we come up with. Lots of things.
So in the past, any practices you started at work for stress relief?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. So we started having, our team meetings are all online now, on Zoom. And because it's so much easier to have, it's not as fun, but it's so much easier to have them, we've been doing just like, lately it's been bi-weekly check-ins with the team. So we're all on there together. So everyone that doesn't see each other is on there together. And we spend part of it talking about just life, not even work stuff. But it's been a good opportunity for people to get together. So was it difficult to get buy-in of ideas? Let's see it. It keeps moving. Difficult to get buy-in from staff, board, etc. for all these ideas. When you create a culture at your library of trust and of positivity, it really goes a long way. So when Jill came to me with the idea, and that was kind of earlier on in my time here, and I was not very good at delegating and stuff. Really, when you empower your staff, you get buy-in, and when your board empowers you, you get buy-in. So it wasn't really that difficult, and I've had ideas and stuff that there was less buy-in for, but because of the trust, it's been pretty easy here. But if it hasn't been easy for you, shoot me an email and we can troubleshoot.
Okay, let me see what else, if we've got any others. Everybody just keeps saying thank you, and they really needed to hear this today.
Do you share ideas with other local libraries? You bet. So I presented this, the same topic at a conference in Wisconsin, and I know one library, she took on the library director took on the backpack station idea. She purchased the same exact backpacks, the same exact Ziploc baggy type things for everything, and it's getting a lot of use already. So I love sharing ideas, and also I'm part of Wisconsin Small Library section, so we have meetups where we share a roundtable too. Oh, I like that. Dress code to allow for jeans on any day rather than Fridays and Saturdays. Good. Any way to get the slides?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll send those out with when I do a follow-up email with everybody.
Oh, Katie, that's awesome. She said that we put out displays where the staff or patrons and staff have to guess the theme. That is really fun. I might take that idea if it's okay.
Okay, it looks like people are winding down. I think at this point, how about if I'll give a last shout out if anybody has any questions, and if not, I think we'll probably go ahead and stop the recording.